You know, some songs are just songs. You listen, you enjoy, you move on. But every once in a while, you get one that's more like a psychological puzzle box. And that's exactly what we're doing today. We're diving deep into Rainblack, trying to unpack all that venom in the verse to see what really makes this thing tick. Right from the jump, the whole song just grabs you with this one haunting line. It's repeated almost like a desperate mantra. You keep on asking, who am I? And you realize pretty quickly, this isn't just someone else asking. This is a question the narrator is screaming at themselves.
And really, everything spirals out from there. So, Section 1, the central question.
So this isn't your typical explainer about melody or rhythm. Nope. What we have here is something much deeper. It's a raw, poetic confession. It really feels like we found these scattered pages from a diary, you know? And it's all about this fractured self. Our job is to act like detectives, piecing together all these lyrical clues to get inside the narrator's head.
Okay, so to really understand this confession, we're going to need a key. And luckily, the song gives us one. It's a psychological concept that's right at the heart of everything. Let's move into Section 2, defining the shadow.
What we're talking about here is something called the shadow self, a concept from Carl Jung. And what is that? Well, think of it like this. It's all the parts of your personality that you don't like to show people. The darker stuff, the impulses, the weaknesses. All the things we kind of push down and hide because, well, they don't fit the perfect version of ourselves we want to be. It's that darkness that, let's be honest, we all have, but most of us try really hard to ignore.
And the song doesn't waste any time. It just dives right in. The narrator straight up claims this identity, saying, I am the Rainblack, the dire shadow in the clear of day. Just think about that phrasing for a second. This isn't your typical spooky shadow that only comes out at night. No, this is a darkness that exists out in the open, in broad daylight, for everyone to see.
And it gets even more intense. The narrator says it's a black spot in the sun. Not an eclipse, not a mistake. I mean, wow, an eclipse is just temporary, right? A mistake is an accident. But the narrator is saying this darkness, it's neither of those. It's a permanent, fundamental, and totally intentional part of who they are.
And then comes this incredibly powerful line, this declaration of ownership. It is my shadow, not yours. You could almost feel them pushing back, right? It's like they're saying, don't even try to understand this. You can't fix it, and it's not yours to analyze. This is my burden, my identity, and mine alone.
Okay, so we've established that this shadow is a core part of their identity. But what does it actually do? Well, that brings us to Section 3, Killer of the Light. And yeah, this is where that darkness stops being passive and becomes a very, very active force. See, the thing is, the narrator doesn't just have a dark side. They flat out say they are the dark side. They fully embrace this role as an agent of chaos. They're practically a walking, talking embodiment of violence and contradiction.
And the confession couldn't be more blunt. I am the killer of the light, the screaming of the night. This is not some passive, quiet darkness we're talking about. This is an aggressive, destructive force with a mission. To snuff out all the brightness and fill every silence with pure terror.
And just look at these impossible contradictions. How can you be the peace and at the same time be the distress, the blight? How can you be the silence that screams? It doesn't make logical sense, right? Because it's not supposed to. It's a portrait of a massive internal war where these completely opposite forces are just raging inside one person. And this isn't just an internal thing. The corruption spreads outward. I am the buyer of souls once not for sale. I mean, that line is just chilling, isn't it? It suggests this power to taint and corrupt even the people you'd think are incorruptible. It's a darkness that literally preys on purity.
So this identity sounds pretty absolute, right? This unstoppable darkness. Or is it? Because this is where the song pulls the rug out from under us and reveals a huge flaw. Section 4, a traitor in the fight. Get ready, because we're about to hit the central paradox of the whole song.
And just like that, the whole identity starts to unravel. Here's the great paradox. The narrator calls themselves the killer of the light. But what are they? They're a shadow.
And what does a shadow need to exist? Light. You can't have one without the other. So their entire existence, their very survival, depends on the one thing they're trying to destroy. It's a total catch-22.
And then we get the admission. The narrator lays it all bare. Without it, my shadow just can't survive. And I know it well, neither can I. That's it. That's the moment of tragic self-awareness. They know. They know that fighting the light is also fighting themselves. It's this codependent, totally self-destructive loop they're trapped in.
So what does this mean for anyone else? Well, this internal war makes the narrator completely unreliable. Dangerous, even. They warn you directly, I am the traitor in your fight. It's a heads up. If you're on the side of good, on the side of the light, they just can't be on your team. Their very nature is to sabotage your cause because they need it to survive.
And this poison seeps into their relationships too. Imagine someone looking at them and seeing a symbol of rebellion or freedom. The narrator hits them with the cold dose of reality. I am not freedom. I am your ties. They're not offering you a way out. They are the trap. They're an anchor that will just pull you down into their own darkness.
So, after all that, after this brutal confession and this deep dive into the shadow, where does that leave us? Well, welcome to Section 5, the unknowable self. Because we don't end up with an answer. We end up with an even bigger mystery.
Just listen to this cycle of despair. I have to live with myself. Each day I die with myself. Each day I can't run away. And then the gut punch. I cross myself, betray myself. Can you even imagine? It's a perfect, inescapable prison that they built themselves. And inside, they're the prisoner, they're the guard, and they're the executioner, all at once.
And that brings us full circle, right back to where we started. That initial question, you keep on asking, who am I? It's now met with just pure exhaustion. Stop asking, who am I? The whole journey, all this self-exploration, it didn't lead to some grand revelation. It just led to a brick wall, a dead end. And then we get it, the final, absolutely devastating truth of the entire song. After all that, claiming to be a killer, a shadow, a traitor, the final answer is, I don't know. You don't know me, and neither do I. Wow. After all that searching, the self remains completely, terrifyingly unknowable, even to itself.
It's a heavy thought to end on, isn't it? Because it turns the question right back around on us. The song might be about this one narrator's struggle, but it kind of forces you to ask yourself, what secrets does your shadow keep?